It's
to
a first. I haven't done a podcast. Well, actually, no, I don't think I've done a podcast, so that's going to be a first for me as well.
Oh, wait till you've got it. And when you put it on your LinkedIn, it goes crazy.
Oh no. Do you know, I hate watching stuff that I've done, so I don't know if I certainly might not watch it myself.
Oh, you will. I bet you will. Okay, so things are set up here. We're almost there.
Yeah.
No, we're good. What my colleague is about to leave, so it'll be all quiet in the studio. I'm gonna count us down. He's out. Three, two, one, action. I'm so excited for the next half an hour. If you're watching this, it probably means you're a healthcare professional. It probably means you're an optician. I'd like you to watch to the end because we're about to present an award to the very best new practice in the UK and some storytelling behind that. I'm Gary Kasulu. Jazz, who are you?
I'm Jasdeep Sahota. So I work for Leamington Social Media.
And the guest, the star of the show, Sukhi. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi there, so I'm Sukhi from Sukhi Eyes in Leamington Spa. So only not even had a practice for a year yet.
And this is why we felt the Optician Awards in London on Saturday, they didn't have a category of best new opticians. I have been around in the industry for about 30 years. I think that your practice is exceptional. It looks amazing. Your customer service is amazing. Your frame choices are amazing. Clinically, to a very high standard, you're still there. It's like you've been in practice for 10 years. So we looked at your numbers as well because we look after your social media. We know how good your numbers are. They're better than some practices that have been open for 10 years. So we'd like to present to you the best new practice of the year in the UK and Ireland. And Jazz is going to maybe share his screen and show you. Here we go.
Thank you. I am so delighted. It's not something I was expecting. You just try your best and you never think you're good enough. But this means a huge amount to me. Uh, I'm lost for words. Literally lost
We'll
for
get it.
words.
We'll get this
Thank you,
printed.
Gary.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're going to get this printed, put it in a nice frame, and you'll have it forever. You'll have
I'm
it
hoping it's the
forever.
start of many awards now,
Yes.
one step at a time.
Absolutely. Jazz, thank you for the presentation and presenting it. The next
Thank you.
the next 25 minutes, we're going to go through a journey of how Sukhi started, how we've ended up at this place being an award. You're actually allowed to say now you're an award-winning practice. Jazz, thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys. See
Your
ya.
contribution.
Thank you, Jazz.
That was fun, right? So this is a podcast that I interview lots of people in the industry, and I usually interview legends of the industry. I interview people that are doing something different, and you are definitely doing something different. Your new practice is so gorgeous. It's so lovely. So what we'll do, if we could start at the beginning. You have a twin
Yes,
sister.
I
Is
do. There's two Sukis actually. Yes,
And if
and
ever
both
you're
of
at an
us are in
optical event,
optics.
sorry, after you.
Yeah, so there's two of us. We're identical twins, and we both work for independent opticians. We always have done through our career in different places, and also actually in the same place we worked when I was on maternity leave. She covered for my practice, and then we worked for some years actually as a team in Leamington.
So you might be watching this thinking you know this person, but maybe it might be her sister, but this is very definitely Sukhi, right? So Sukhi, what age did you first get into optics and what was your first memory of working in opticians? I love going back there and taking all the audience back there. So how long ago was it and what was your first memory?
So actually, optics for me started very early. I was myopic. I needed glasses from a young age, and we have had a family opticians, and it just, I just loved the thought of seeing better, and certainly when from my experience going in and being able to see sharper and brighter was amazing. So when it came to work experience at my local from school, I decided actually I want to see what the world of
Wow.
optics is like. I also looked at other careers, but I wanted to do something in healthcare, somewhere where I was helping, I was making people's lives better. So is anything I feel in the care industry. So I
What
was
did
able
they
to
let you do?
organize
What did they let you
some.
do at night work experience? Was it a week or two? Because I've taken on over 1,000 work experience students. Many have gone on to be optometrists, technicians. It's the best feeling ever. What did they let you do for that week or
Well,
two?
I actually worked in the work experience I had was at Chinese Opticians in Leamington, which actually was the majority of my career before I
That's a lovely
built up
story.
this practice here. So I stayed very true to that work experience that I had for a week. And it was simple things like getting when patients were coming in using the very basic computer system. It was watching patients looking at frames and finding the right fit for them. It was a very small place at the time. But one of the
Oh,
core
Sukhi,
memories for
can I just
me,
pause you there? I have interviewed so many optometrists in my day. It's 30 years experience, interviewed hundreds of optoms. When I say, how did you get into this? If the answer is I couldn't get into pharmacy, I couldn't get into medicine, you failed. Suki's story there, I hire every single time. So if you're a young optometrist watching this, please don't let Suki's story inspire you, because it puts hairs on the back of my neck. You got into it for the right reasons. So I love that. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
oh, I mean, as I said, the first time I looked into somebody's eyes using an ophthalmoscope, I actually worked with the director for a lot of my professional life. But I remember him giving me that ophthalmoscope and me trying to look into somebody's eyes at the time. And then that becomes a big part of your life, and now you use all these different fancy
Where did you go
things.
to uni, Suki?
So I went to Aston University, very local, again, very community field because a lot of my colleagues also went to Aston, and we have a quite a good alumni. I've done a lot of my professional training back in Aston as well. So great links to Aston University.
So you do your pre-reg. Where have you done your pre-reg?
So my pre-reg, I actually did all the way in Wales. I went to an independent who had about
Wow.
7 practices at the time, all
Wow.
around North Wales. And I absolutely loved it. I actually lived in the practice, lived above the practice. So it was every day
Wow.
going in, seeing patients, and patients of a very kind of very aged patients. The elderly I
Presbo.
was seeing mostly.
You'll
And I
see in
think that's a
Presbo.
big part of our job is being comfortable with the elderly, understanding a multitude of problems. And a lot of the time they just want to come in for a little bit of a chat. And then you're doing the eyes as a extra.
Can I say I've known you a little while now. Your empathy is so high. You're so lovely. And this is something they don't teach. How can you teach empathy? You're starting to create a picture for me, certainly, how you started. But you're a naturally gifted person that cares. Like it's amazing. So
I
you've
mean, from my point of view, I think if somebody comes in, if you can put a smile on their face for whatever reason, have a little bit of a connection, never mind what you're doing, you have done right. And I think if you can smile at somebody, you can make them laugh about something, you can connect with them in any way. It's such a vital part of just being human and just being part of the human race.
I,
So,
I totally agree with that. So can you give us some early memories of that first and second year where you're scared, you're worried about ophthalmoscopy, are you going to get a refraction right? Because this is watched by student optometrists. And if you're a student optom, Sukhi is definitely someone you want to look up to. So early days,
I have to say, early days, as I said, I worked with as soon as I qualified, I went straight back to my work experience placement and actually said I would like a job. And funny enough, they had some kind of
Wow.
weekend work for me. And so I was working with somebody very experienced, somebody I really looked up to. And patients had a huge following for the director. And so when they would come and see me, it was, oh, I didn't want to come and see you. And you're too young to be being able to
Sexism,
look at my
just so
eyes.
young people know, sexism, racism, are we talking 20 years plus, was very, very prevalent. It's not the days that we see now. Like this is you were innovating, you were doing great stuff.
But actually, the lovely thing was, for me, looking up to my director, the fact that he had such a following, people wanted to come and see him again. That is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to have a community, people. I wanted to build I wanted to build that trust that they're coming back to see me. That continuity of care is vital, actually, for caring for people.
Well,
I think if you don't know
Your
them, you're not
unlucky
going to be able to
memories for
care.
me. I remember in my pre-reg, all I was allowed to do was hoover at the beginning and the end. I was allowed to dust frames. I was allowed to clean RGPs and the trial lenses. That was my first 3 weeks. I wasn't allowed anywhere near a patient. And it was quite strategic of Mr. Agani in my pre-reg because I was so eager to pick up the phone and book an
Yeah.
appointment, and I was great. So he was very much like Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Agani, if you're listening, you did a good job back there. Well done. So we fast forward a little bit because we've got a short period of time for this podcast. We can do another one if you want to dive more deep. But we fast forward to the moment you think, I can do this better. I can open my own practice. Can we talk about that slightly? Where was
So
that
when I
moment that happened?
Well, I think it happened because I felt like there was nothing else out there that I wanted to work in the next, not just year, next 5 years, maybe 10 years. We don't know when till. And I'm still so passionate about the topic. I still feel as optometrists, we are not, we are not encouraged to do where our experience is. Even with things like dry eye, for example, I feel there's so much we can do as practitioners, and we're capped for that. So when I left my current employment at Bayfields, I needed to find somewhere where I was independent and had that same feeling. And I had a good year of looking around, and there's just nothing that seemed to fit the mold. And so I decided to make my own mold. And it's a
Were you
brave decision,
scared?
and I think
Were you
you don't
scared?
do it easily, and you do need the support of certainly family to encourage you. And you've got to have your own confidence, which is very difficult when you worked for somebody else. But I feel it's the right decision for
Suki, were
me.
you scared? Because I don't remember being scared in 2004. I traveled the world the year beforehand, and I saw practices in Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. And I came back and I thought, I want a new concept. I want to do something different. And not for 1 second was I scared. And this is like, if you are scared and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm scared, please don't be, because it, your vision, you can paint the picture of a blank canvas. So were you scared that for any minute of the day, was the night before, you think, oh my God, have I done the right thing?
Some feelings of being anxious about any big decision you make. And that's natural. And if it wasn't a decision that was big enough, then really maybe it's not that right decision. So if you're going to do a experience, you always feel a little bit anxious about how it's going to happen. But mainly, I just felt there was no other choice. This is my next step forward. And I've had such great support as well. So everything seemed to just fit together when it needed to.
And you have a beautiful, aesthetically, the way you put that practice together is so beautiful. I encourage you in the show notes. I'm going to put the Instagram handle. You get a good feel from the Instagram what the vibe is like in this practice. It looks beautiful. You can't spend unlimited amounts of money. Like
No.
how did you get, like, I've got this amount of money, how am I going to get there? Because I'm very much against paying a architect to do things. I know that this was all from your ideas. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So you've got to have a vision. And as I said to you, everything kind of came together when it was meant to. When the premises we're in now, we were actually having a coffee across the road, and we were really worried about where we could be or what we wanted. And the sign was just going up. So it just felt like it was a sign for us. And we talked to the agent, and the rest is history. When
Wow,
it
can I
came,
tell you the similarity? I was late for a train and I was working for Optical Express. And if you know Optical Express,
yeah,
it's similar to a chain, like it's just revolving. So I wasn't that happy. I'm late for my train. I turn around and the guy was writing the close sign. And I walked in there, said, I want to buy the lease. That's so similar to my story. So, wow, look out for the signs, people. I'm so enjoying this interview. I hope you are too. Please make comments down below. Sukhi will keep an eye on this, and she'll make comments. We would love to inspire you to open your own practice, because without that, how will optometry grow if all we are is change? It's crazy. Sorry, Sukhi, please. I'm so enjoying everything you're saying.
so in terms of the aesthetic of the practice, is very much my husband and I's design. It's something we wanted it not to feel very clinical. We wanted it to feel warm. Actually, what we looked at is more the spa feel. So we looked at ideas of how they used to warm up premises without it feeling too clinical. I didn't want people to feel worried as they came in. And we've got a very warm feeling, a walk around the practice. Even art is quite important, but art that is, if you look very carefully, you've got eyes in every part of the art. So it's all passion. I mean, Sukhi itself means happiness, contentment, and the name was Happy Eyes, really. It's all around about the eye care.
So,
And I think once we had that idea, everything seemed to fall in place, including the colors, where we were,
tell me
and
about
how we wanted to
technically.
do it.
Tell me about technically. How did you pick your slit lamp? How did you pick your equipment? How did you know? Did you shop around? Because the equipment's really important to you as a practitioner.
Absolutely. Now, what I did actually is I did shop around, and it can be mind-boggling. There's just so much choice out there. But for this practice, I spoke very much to people who I knew in the industry, who I'd worked with, who I trusted. So for me, trust is over everything else. And one of my colleagues had gone into instruments and selling instruments,
Brilliant.
and I spoke to
You
him
can
straight
name
away.
you
So
can
I
name them.
picked up the phone.
It's absolutely okay to name them.
Yeah, so Pete Downing, I've known for absolutely years. He's a friend, and when we were looking at setting up, I just gave him a call and I asked him everything. And I know I trust him overall. And when we were looking at what I wanted, I just went with Hanson Equipment. So they were amazing. Again, it's a small business. Well, it's a big business, but they work with independents, and they were able to help me with the design of the rooms. And then when I came to other equipment that I on my wish list, I just talked that through. Lots of people that I've met over the years.
That's the best way in many ways. So other than just the standard equipment, you have you gone for Opta? I can't remember for Opta or trial
So we
frame.
got the Fropta. I think you've got to have a Fropta head for nowadays for patients. A lot of this is what people expect. However, I don't think the trial frame is completely gone, and I still selectively use it nowadays for particular patients. And you've got to think about where that trial frame is going to be far better actually than a Fropta head. And there's many reasons why you might choose one or the other. So I still have my lenses here. I use them very rarely, but there is
There
still
might
the
be a
need for
power cut.
those.
I remember there was over the years of my practice, there was a power cut. Had to go back to like Snellen, old-fashioned Snellen chart. We didn't have any electricity. It's quite funny. Could you talk us through some of the equipment? Oh,
I'm going
that's
to show
a
you this.
classic.
This is
That's a
a
classic.
very, very old design. Now, this isn't something that I use on patients, I promise you, but it's where everything came from. So this is one of the original trial frames,
Beautiful.
and it still would work if you wanted to use it, but it's important,
Talk us through
important
some of
history.
talk us through some of the equipment you've invested in and why you chose to invest in that equipment.
So, equipment wise, I think if you are looking at being an independent, you've got to do more. You've got to be ready for hopefully the next generation of optometry. So, OCT scanning, I think, is a must. You've got to know what's going on in the back of the eye,
How
and
much are you
you've got to
charging for
look at
OCT?
disease prevention.
Just give us an idea of how much you're charging and what the ratio of patients that are taking the OCT from you. Because there's a lot of opticians out there petrified to invest.
So OCT, we've got an OCT, we've also got an Optomap as well, which is the ultra wide scan. And we don't give patients a choice in terms of do you want the Optomap, do you want the OCT? We feel actually that is the full package, and we call that our advanced examination. So those patients will have both. And from your, as a practitioner point of view, you feel like you've covered as many stones as you can looking at that patient. And that is £95 we charge for our advanced test, and it does take a good hour.
And
Then we have a
patient,
standard test.
the patient
Where,
feels so reassured. You have checked everything that the patient feels so reassured at the end of it. I haven't seen ever a patient not walk out of a test like that and think that's impressive. So
absolutely, because you're showing them not only how the eye is at the moment, but it helps us to look at the future care of that eye. So is there anything that we may need to monitor ongoing?
absolutely. So you've
Now,
got
we've also then invested, we've gone for a digital slit lamp. So I think digital is important nowadays. Again, patients want to see what's going on. And that's been a real game changer from my point of view, because a lot of explanations I would do with diagrams, but actually now I can take a picture and I can show the person. We've invested in the Antares, which is looking at analyzing dry eye. And that has been our newest
and
equipment.
that is I know so many dry eye practitioners that insist on these things, and they do it from pre-screening sometimes, because then you're telling the patient what to do. Literally everyone has dry eye, and
They do, they do.
I
And we
speak
all
to
know
practitioners
about
that
dry eye. The only problem is that you just can't quantify it. And quantification, letting patients understand what's going on and where the improvements have been made, is really vital for the whole communication with your patient.
anything else, or have we talked about any other equipment that you have?
So, along with the Antares, as part of our kind of dry eye assessment, we have also invested in the OptiLight IPL system for MGD, but also for skin conditions. and hopefully getting into a little bit more into the aesthetics around the eye.
I think this is so brave of you. It's still the tip. Optometrists are just understanding this stuff. But when we say everyone has dry eye, literally, there are so many aspects of different types of people, whether it's menopause, whether it's taking medication, whether it's on that screen for too long, and people are suffering. If you're watching this and you just sell eye drops, your patient's going to find something else. It's not a celebration that they're coming back every month buying drops. There are so many other solutions. So brilliant for
And
you.
it's
And I hope
these
people
solutions
come.
are looking at these solutions are looking at longer benefits. So with the drops, it is very instant and it is just putting a plaster on the problem. We know we're not necessarily curing it. And with the technologies like IPL or punctum plugs, we're allowing the eyes to be disease free for longer. We're not saying it's it's a complete cure, but it's a longer management strategy.
And we know, like, there's a gentleman, he's passed away, and he was called Myers LaRoche, and he wrote a great book. He was an accountant, and he said that most practices people will only travel for 3 miles, but they will travel up to 20 miles. That's a long way if you're a
Yeah.
specialist. And you are a specialist. I think people will travel hundreds of miles. I spoke to somebody that lives, I don't know, Manchester, and he was driving to Birmingham for dry eye treatment. So this is really good. You're niching out. You're not just a generalist. So you've done an amazing sight test. You've done the pre-assessments. Patient comes outside, and can you talk to us about how you chose your frames? Because they're really, I think, like an art gallery. Your frame should be
Absolutely.
curated.
So what we wanted to do here, I think Leamington's got quite a few different practices. We want it to be different. You've got to stand out in some way. And we decided to go for eyewear companies rather than the kind of Luxottica of frames that you might have or the standard uh, frames, the designer frames that people go for. We really are looking at silent fashion. Actually, it's the frame that is the fashion piece rather than the badge that's on the side of it. So frames that are made by frame designers, the, actually the companies themselves are passionate about what they make. I mean, the frame is the first thing that you see of a person when you're talking to them. I mean, you can spend a lot on your clothes or whatever else you're wearing, but if you want eye contact, the eyes are coated around with their glasses. Never mind then the lenses that you need for vision and focus and for work overall. So why not invest in something that makes you feel good and it looks good and it is comfortable as well? So we've got Cutler and Grass, we've got Moscot, we've just had our new selection of Dita frames, again handmade all in Japan. LGR, which is an Italian company that does
Lots of history
classic
there.
Italian so beautifully. Woody's is a lovely quirky frames, and again independent.
Well, I've been to the practice. I doubt very much someone will come in and say there isn't something here for me. You've curated those frames beautifully. So it's been 6 months. I have never seen a practice do so well from standstill. You started from nothing, and there's been a few bonuses. You work locally, so people know you already. I think integration into community is so important. But when we read the book, and I highly recommend, do not open a business unless you read this book. It's called The E-Myth. It splits business into 3 departments: finance, operations, marketing. So we won't go too much into finance, but just know that in finance, a third of the money you take should go into operational things. Okay, so a third should be probably labor costs and a third profit, and that's really hard to achieve. But Suki's managed to do that. So finance, charge the
We're
right.
not at the end of the year yet, so we'll see.
Well, hopefully she's managed to do that. Is pretty smart over there with finance. But those basic rules, employ an accountant that knows about VAT, because the VAT is very different. A regular accountant doesn't know about VAT. That you need a specialist really. And
We
then
do.
so that's the finance side of things. The operations, you run it like a like clockwork. Your staff are very well motivated. They're all attentive. It's a beautiful environment. Operations, you're there. Now, the marketing part is what most people leave out. You
Yes.
hired somebody locally to take your content on social media. I think your content's so good. And we tell us a little bit about the marketing and how you're so clever. You did a picture of your face outside the practice, so people walking past and recognize you. Tell us that you've covered every base, and that's why
Yeah.
you deserve this award so much.
So we did definitely think, as much as you've got the cost of getting the practice together, marketing has to be part of your strategy. And even now, a year on, you've got to stay fairly relevant. And we looked at where we're going to kind of invest our money. And, Instagram is the new or the younger, even, our generation. You've got to think about it from your viewpoint, your parents' viewpoint, and maybe even your kids. Well, where will they be looking for ideas? So we already had the idea, and we started up actually on our own. We'd already got our kind of image together, but it was making that image come to life. And then we started initially with our own post, but as we talked to all the independents around the area, there was a young girl who also was doing a little bit of the social media. So we got involved very early with Pam, our what we call our social media group, and she had not worked in optics at all, and I think that was a huge benefit because she gave us ideas that wasn't what you would see everywhere else, for example, and the content I felt was a little bit more fresh. So don't look for just your industry, look at what other people are doing, and can we then bring that round to what we're doing here? I think optics overall has never thought about marketing because
I
it was
I, I look after people. You know how many people I look after. I look after you guys. I I meet people that don't have a logo. Like your logo, your brand kit, it's all so professional. Please, if you're thinking of opening opticians, Sukhi as the benchmark, Sukhi as the gold standard
oh
is a very nice place to start. Look at her Instagram, look at her website. So clever. Could we fast forward? I'd love to come with your permission. I'd love to do this podcast again in 6 months and just keep an eye on you.
yeah.
Where can you see yourself in 6 months, 6 years, exiting? I don't know, like your kids taking over. Where's your vision for the next 6 months, and then a year, and so on?
So, I mean, that is a great point to make. I think exiting, actually, even when you're starting a business, is important to have at the back of your head. So, where can I see myself in a year's time? Well, in a year's time, actually, I'm hoping at that stage, our dry eye clinics flourishing. We're looking at, again, skin aesthetics around the eyes, particularly, that we can do to make people feel good about their eyes and certainly keeping their eyes healthy longer term. We've also invested in Velida, the photo biomodulation system for dry eyes. No, so for dry macular degeneration. And this is to kind of hold macular degeneration at a very early level.
And it's
So
great
this
for
is,
inflammation of the dry eyes as well. It doubles up, does it not?
I know, it really gets quite confusing because they both start with dry, but dry eye macular degeneration, the dry eye with the IPL, but for Velida, it's about age-related macular degeneration. And to prevent this from accelerating over the years, previously we've had very little we can give our patients. I mean, I felt that very frustrating. Oh, you can have some supplements, but we're not really sure that's going to work.
Mackie
But this is
Shield and yeah.
evidence-based now, and we have seen the evidence that it reduces drusen, it enhances visual acuity. So I'm hoping to get that a lot more known in the community and around. People don't know that this machine exists, and it is something that could help people longer term in terms of maintaining their lifestyle for much longer by starting this treatment early on. So there's going to be a big push on knowledge and getting this out into the community next year. The year after, I'm looking at maybe getting a pre-reg. So I want young optometrists to look at eye care in the way I do and actually know that they can be involved in the next generation of eye care. How do they want to push it? So I'd love to have a student either in dispensing and in optometry to help in terms of where we're going into the future. Then, 5 years on, I'm hoping we've got a nice business that works with the 2 clinics. And then in terms of exiting, I think I would like whoever is involved in the business to invest in the business. I'm not looking at people buying the whole practice and changing it over. I want people to have this as a stepping stone to eye care for as I said, the generations to come.
I don't know if you realize how inspiring you are. If you've watched this and you feel Sukhi's as inspiring as I do, please make a comment. If you're a pre-reg and you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, that's about time when I go there, contact her, offer your time for free. Just say, I'll just be on your shop floor on a Saturday. Yeah, she's only taking one pre-reg, and they're going to turn out to be optometrists of the year in years to come. Sukhi, just wrapping it up, can I ask, number one, what makes a great optometrist? And number two, are you looking after yourself with your health-life balance? Because starting a new business, because it's such a passion, it doesn't even feel like work. How are you doing with that? And then we'll wrap it up with what makes a great optometrist in your opinion.
So health-life balance, absolutely. You've really got to look after yourself. So I always have done. I've always exercised well, but now recently I have joined the gym, and now I'm doing a bit of weight training as well.
Good, that's a good thing to
So
do.
all about keeping strength.
Mindfulness? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing mindfulness? Are you
So
reading?
I always do some type of meditation every morning with kind of prayers. So that is vital to me. And spirituality is vital as part of my overall life. So that's always embedded in my day-to-day routine and at weekends as well. Family, making time for family. It's very difficult when you're working 6 days a week. But if I can kind of go out for lunch with one of my sisters, or or my mum will come in every so often to give me some food, which it's such a huge part of who I am is the people around me, and I like to treat everyone that even works with me is part of my family or my extended family. So investing time in them, making sure you see them regularly, being outdoors, walking. I just couldn't live without having all these walks we have around. So in the mornings I will walk, in the evenings I will walk. So that helps me just to declutter, to revitalize over a good day or a bad day, because there's always going to be the next day. You're not always going to be in the same mood the next time. It's just about letting go and then moving forward. And in terms of what makes a great optometrist, I think what makes a great optometrist is somebody who cares. That really is the simple answer. You've got to care. You've got to care for the person you're seeing, And I think everything then spurs from that.
And the fact that you are so knowledgeable with what's involved with optometry, I think the people of Leamington are very lucky. All the show notes are there. If you type in Opticians Leamington, I think you guys show up very high up on the Google rankings.
And you're never too late to learn. You always make mistakes, but always keep learning. So at the moment, I'm doing independent prescribing, again, looking at expanding my portfolio, giving care in local um, local practices rather than people having to go to the hospitals. Be connected with your community around you as well, your hospitals, the optometrists, the ophthalmologists, because we all
Orthoptists,
play a
yeah.
big part in this.
The orthoptists, the GPs, we're frontline, we're first port of call. The pharmacists do have a habit of handing out chloramphenicol to absolutely everything. They
Oh,
do like to recommend, say, look, maybe go and see that optician around the corner. You'll be amazed at how many referrals you get from that. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I cannot wait to speak again in 6 months and see the catch up. You thoroughly enjoy deserve best new practice of the year. You're an amazing optometrist. Everyone that's going to see you this afternoon is in for a treat. Can you please make sure you have lunch? What does Suki have for lunch, out of curiosity?
it's very boring, unfortunately. I try and get as much protein, so it's usually a sandwich, protein bread with hummus and some salad. And I always have like a protein yogurt as well, because being vegetarian is very hard to get all the right
Some
balances.
nuts, throw some nuts in there as well. I hope
No,
you've enjoyed this as much as I have. That's a pod. That's a wrap. Everyone have a lovely, wonderful day. And if you've taken anything from this, please like, share, comment, tell a friend about Suki because you're great. And I think that's a wrap.
thank you, Gary. Thank you for
You're
the
welcome.
award. And I have to say how genuine person you are. Your passion is infectious, and you're doing a great job.
I hope to anyone watching this that if you go into optics, you have as much fun as Suki and I. I'm never bored of it, and that's the shame of sometimes our industry. It loses that passion. Just watch this over and over again. Hopefully, it will inspire you. Suki, have a lovely, wonderful day.
Gary, and thank you for the award again. I
Oh my
really
God, so well
appreciate it.
deserved.